Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. I want to keep this video short. I've been reminding everybody to subscribe or hit the like button because YouTube algorithms are already rigged against me and other people so much now that I need, whatever. Every little bit helps. Before I get into this thing with Taylor Swift, I had this realization. I covered it on a long video here. Don't panic, people, and something to do with Taylor Swift here. Taylor Swift, the banker's daughter. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that here. That I didn't, I kind of buried that at the end of the video. It's a long video, an hour long. It's an hour and 20 minutes long. But I want to get into that in just a bit. But I have all this backlog of content. This video took off a little bit. It got 11,000 views so far. I just released this video here. And, I'm going to have 4 videos here. I'm already in the process of making a video for my other channel. So, I wanted to reduce the amount of content, but it just hasn't worked out that way. It's a way to, sort of bring back some of the view count and things like this. The more content you produce, the more that YouTube penalizes you in some, bizarre way, which I've talked about in the past. But anyways, let's move over to the Taylor Swift thing here. Okay, before we get started with the Taylor Swift thing, just briefly here, I've been talking to YouTube bots, their AI, and many of you guys have watched my recent videos about this. And it's just not me; it's all these people on YouTube. It's just not truthers, but they are shadow banning us. And the bots were saying, "Well, we want you to succeed, and we're sorry our policies are hurting your channel," and this kind of BS. And we don't have a thing called shadow banning, but they do. And since I dialogue with them, they're now sending out recommendations and they're sending out notifications to my viewers. And I'm getting more and more comments. "Oh, I haven't seen you in years," or "YouTube just sent me a notification, remind me of your channel." I mean, things like this, right? And so it shows you that they're shadow banning, because as soon as I said you're shadow banning me, they started to put a little bit more effort into, minimizing the shadow banning. But this was a great comment. It's so fun when I receive a video suggestion from YouTube on the main page thinking it's a new video when it's 2 years ago video from you that I already watched. "I thought you were discussing again Bob Saget in June 2024. I was wondering why. Thank YouTube for their efficiency." So this person was recommended much more Bob Saget. It's hilarious that people think I am still Mr. Full House. I don't even know what that video is. Like, I don't even remember that title or what it. I assume it has something to do with Bob Saget and Full House. So, anyways, but let's get into the Taylor Swift thing here. So, my wife and I watched this documentary on HBO Max, which was about the conflict between Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun. Scooter Braun, I've covered here before. He's a POS. It isn't like he's a good guy, but, and I would assume that they're working together. It's 2 billionaires that work together and colluded to milk Taylor Swift's fans out of more money. I don't know if they had a real conflict or real beef. I doubt that they did, because all these things seem to be contrived and planned. Although Scooter Braun and Taylor Swift to some extent, Scooter Braun more than Taylor Swift, he took a beating in terms of his image. So, who knows what happened there. But either way, Taylor Swift used and abused her followers, the so-called Swifties, right? When I was younger, calling somebody Swift meant you're fat, you're smart, like you're quick, that you're, clever. But when you called somebody Swift, or usually we're making fun of them, it was a way to call them stupid or slow, right? "Oh, you're Swift," something like this. Or "You're a Swiftie." And so that's Taylor Swift's fans, right? And she completely used them, put them in harm's way. And also she, double dipped and made them, all the way that she's abused them financially. And so they showed both examples of, they showed both sides of the story, Taylor Swift's side of the story and Scooter Braun. And Scooter Braun's side of the story looked a lot more legitimate, as Taylor Swift was caught lying over and over again. So what this was about, there was this Big Machine Records that was basically started in Nashville and grew to be successful as a multi-million-dollar company was sold to Scooter Braun for $300 million because of Taylor Swift, right? And the company had Taylor Swift's master recordings, right? And that's what these companies get. And she got the music, she got the publishing, the music, the lyrics, all the things she wrote, all of it, right? So she retained rights to the musical aspect. They retained the master recordings. They were both receiving royalties, and she claimed that she wanted to buy the master recordings, but they made her an offer, and she didn't take the offer. And so she said that she was blindsided. She found out the day that everyone else did, and Taylor Braun had, sort of bullied her by posting a picture online and, representing Kanye West for a little bit. And, she said he bullied her and was abusing her. And she used the Me Too movement to act like a victim, again, hijacking that movement and talking about how women were abused and were taken advantage by the record industry. But we know that every music artist is taken advantage by the record industry. That's why all these independent people now post videos on YouTube and post their own. They don't go through record industry anymore. There's all these independent artists, and we saw what happened with Tom Petty, and he sued his record company. This happened over and over again, all the way back to the movie Cadillac Records. It's well known that record companies exploit and take advantage of their artists, right? But she made it about feminism. She tried to invoke all of her fans. She told her fans to let Scooter Braun know and Big Machine Records know how she'd been mishandled. And then she decided to re-record her master copies so that she would then release her own versions, what she called Taylor's version, and said that anybody who's not listening to those is being disloyal to Taylor. And so she doubled down and made her followers buy extra music, right? Which is, let me get in and break all these things down. So let's start off with her lies about saying that she was surprised. Well, one of the things that was interesting in it was Taylor Swift's dad was a rich, wealthy banker. And she came from Pennsylvania and lived in some upper-class neighborhood, right, from rich, she's a banker's daughter. And nobody has sympathy for bankers and bankers' daughters. And he used his, leverage at work to get reassigned from Pennsylvania to Nashville, where he was able to help her start her career. And she signed with Big Machine Records. He bought a 3% stake in the company. So he was able to come up with a big chunk of money. And when they sold the company, his 3% stake in the company ended up being $15 million. So her dad got paid off $15 million from the sale of this company. And he sat on the board and would have known that they were selling it to Scooter Braun and presented no objections. And Taylor was on board, like all these things. And they released all these contracts and emails and things and exchanges, which show that Taylor Swift was involved in the process, didn't complain, didn't say anything, and gave no objection, and then spazzed out afterwards and acted like a victim like she's prone to do, right? And so the first thing was putting her fans in harm's way. Now, her fans started to threaten the lives of Scooter Braun and his kids, and to some extent the people, the executives at this Big Machine Records. And this is a problem, right? So years and years ago, people used to copy my full videos and often take off my introduction so people would know who it originated with. And they would put them up and monetize them. And sometimes YouTube would promote the copy video. I had a Beyonce video that got 250,000 views, some Illuminati crap that I did years ago. And then some guy copied it, and it got 350,000 views. It had to do with the Grammys. And so, it was, the money was better at YouTube then and all these things as well. And so people were stealing money from me and taking my content, right, my creative process. Taking whole videos. And so some guy took my video, and I put in, someone let me know. I don't know how it worked out. One of my viewers must have told me. And I, filed a copyright complaint. The guy got a copyright strike. And apparently this guy was some flat earth truther, that we had shared audience, that some of my viewers were also his viewers. And, I was out and I had a little bit of a headache. I came home and I had like 350, 500 hostile comments from his viewers because he made a video saying I was trying to take down his channel and all these things. I didn't even know who he was. I had no idea. Like I didn't, I like he thought I knew who he was and his viewers thought I knew who he was. He posted some of his own content, but a lot of his content was content that he so-called mirrored or stole from other people, right? And he monetized my video, as well as, my wife found another video on his channel that was my video that he monetized, right? And so, when you're dealing with all that hostility and all these people, some of the people were my regular viewers, and it was a complete punk bitch ass move, which I saw because you don't put your viewers, you don't let your viewers fight your battles for you. All these people that send their viewers to attack other people, it's just a bitch move. And, I made several videos about this guy exposing his lies and saying, what my side of the story was. And, it was whatever it was. Like I lost some viewers and some subscribers, but I was completely 100% in the right. I wasn't trying to take down anybody's channel. He stole my video without my permission and posted it and monetized it and was making money off of it. And he had a couple of other copyright strikes, so this was the third one. And so he was trying to force me through using his viewers to attack me in just a bitchy way and putting them in harm's way and, these types of things. I mean, Taylor Swift's viewers are so fanatical. They were threatening, what if someone showed up and shot Scooter Braun and his kids or something, right? Like, you just don't do that. And, it's something where she was lying, misrepresenting the truth, and getting her viewers to fight her battles for her. And so, that's just a cult leader. That's what cult leaders do, right? The banker's daughter. She'll always be known now to me as Taylor Swift, the banker's daughter, right? Tay-Tay, the banker's daughter, because she comes from privilege. She's not a struggling artist. She got, her break early in her life when she was a teenager. She came from a privileged family, and she does nothing about whining about how the record industry in the world's rigged against her and other women, even though there's real women out there suffering. She piggybacked on the Me Too movement to act like a victim, and then put her fans, her rabid fans, in harm's way. And then she tried to sabotage a business deal, and they said, it would hurt other artists. This was something where she was setting a precedent where these artists would re-record their old masters, and then they would get the royalties and the sales from the new versions, and the people who own the original masters, then that's property. That's property that they owned. Like she made a deal with them, and this was her deal, and her deal was that Big Machine Records had the masters. She could have bought them outright, but instead remade these masters, and it screwed over her fans. Many of them are struggling poor people, right? Who, whatever it is, right? And they're having to rebuy all her crappy music, and we're talking about 6 albums, and also she releases all these variants. It's just a way to milk her fans. Again, I don't know if Scooter Braun was in on this, but either way, she's just squeezing more money out of her fans and her, these kids who their parents are paying for this, this music they already own, right? For records they already own, the Taylor's version, and they feel disloyal, and they're pretty adamant about it. If you're listening to the old Taylor Swift songs, you're somehow disloyal to her, even though her dad got paid handsomely, millions of dollars, and she's making royalties off of the old records as well as the new records, and they're being financially strapped, and she's trying to squeeze them for everything they're worth. And I think her concert tickets were $2,000, right? Weren't they? I'll look that up real quick. The average ticket cost was $1,088. The average, I guess, was $1,200, and then there was the resale, right? And so these tickets were, costing their, people a fortune, right? And she's a billionaire now, and she's squeezing all of her followers. It's just ridiculous. Over some minor little incident with, this guy, right, Scooter Braun, where she said he was bullying her, and it's nothing like most of these kids experience on a daily basis in school or in the internet and the rest of it, right? So just a horrible person, a banker's daughter, like I said, a billionaire, and milking everything she can out of them, using them, putting them in harm's way, manipulating their emotions, and lying to them, right? She's lying to them about what really happened here. And there was information out there, contracts and things, and of course the kids aren't going to read that. all the things that were proposed, things that she would read ahead of time. She lied about being blindsided. She lied about having the opportunity to buy these things for herself. And then she made another killing, like she doubled down, is making money, and she's undermining her contract and her commitment to this record company that made her career, right? And then using feminism and victim consciousness to blame it all and act like she's a victim, like she always does. Just a horrible person. And then they have all that demonic and satanic crap at her concerts and all these other things. People wrote to me, "Oh, she's a man. You know that, right?" Like there was a comment, "You know she's a man, right?" And I go, "No, you don't either, right?" Like she possibly could be. I'm not ruling out that possibility. And I'm not ruling out that she's a devil worshiper or she's Anton LaVey's granddaughter, but those things are improvable. But her being a complete scumbag and cult leader to her fans and mistreating them and using them and, like a parasitic freaking nightmare, sucking all the marrow out of their bones and, making them buy multiple versions, not just the Taylor version, but also these variants she releases of the same song where they're buying, songs over and over again from her, right? And so, just a horrible human being. And then these fake relationships and all these other things. All right, so I just want to do a quick update on that. But again, this is Taylor Swift, Tay-Tay the banker's daughter, and the way that she, abuses and mistreats her fans. Okay, so today's Tuesday, January 25th. I'm going to add a little voiceover here. It's kind of interesting how YouTube's algorithms and their shadow banning and all these things play out. And so since I engage with YouTube, and I just wanted to get them to admit, not admit because I know they wouldn't. But, I said what I need to say to them. But now I'm getting all these people who haven't listened to my videos or seen my videos in years saying YouTube's recommending my stuff. And even some new people. I'm getting some normies coming in. You can tell by the comments. And, that's unusual. That hasn't happened in years. But not to the extent it used to. If I had made this video 4 years ago, and everything was the same in terms of Taylor Swift's population arc. But if I made it 4 or 5 years ago, there were maybe 8 years ago, I don't even know by now. But back when my channel used to get hundreds of thousands and millions of views. And of course, my videos are more sophisticated and more intelligent than they used to be. And so they used to appeal to more people because there's a lot of dumbed down people down there. But when YouTube used to recommend my videos, this video would have got hundreds of thousands of views, maybe even 1 million views. And so on a much smaller level, I saw this video take off. Usually my videos are pretty much done after the first day. I get 4,000 or 5,000 views from my normal viewers. And then just, once in a while, there'll be some viewers trickling in. But in the past, I would have maybe 2 or 3 days where the video would grow. Sometimes it'd be a whole week where it would take off. Even after a couple days, it would, make it into the beast and it'd be recommended all over the place. And, some of my videos got up to like over 1 million views. My biggest video got 2 million views. And so that doesn't happen anymore. So 12,000 views after a couple days, the majority of views came in after day 1, which is unusual. So YouTube recommended this video more than they've done in the past, and it made it into the whatever it is, sort of, not like it used to. But I want to comment on that by saying it took me complaining to them and interacting with them and saying they shadow banned me for them to, and not just me, but other people, and how YouTube's policies, YouTube doesn't like say, all right, you're shadow banned. They just make their policies and their machine learning and their algorithms naturally sift through, and you fall through the holes in their system and your channel drops, right? They use a sieve and they bulk up the other channels that they want so the channels won't fit through the sieve. And they have a way of, this is just a metaphor, but that's how they shadow ban. And so YouTube knows who would want to watch my videos. Like everybody who does, every company, every organization that collects data has a way to decipher data, and they know who to recommend my channel to. There's people out there, a very small amount of people, that would get my stuff. It's like less than 1%, 0.1%. That's something like 10 million people. I don't know how many people, not everybody watches videos on YouTube, these things. But there's millions of people out there that could be my potential audience. And YouTube, if they were doing their job, would find those people, which would be easy for them because they know where those people are. They can tell by all their data collection. The way they recommend things to you on Facebook when you're having conversations and the way they spy on you. Like how many of us have had that where, for me, I'm walking around with my wife in the pasture with only my cell phone and we have a conversation for something. And then I come inside and on Facebook or on YouTube or some social media platform, I'll get an ad for that, right? Like, it's like, how is that possible, right? And so, because they're spying on you. So they know everything. And so there's people out there that they could connect me with and connect them to my channel, and they just simply won't do that, right? And so, it's just fraudulent because it doesn't hurt them to do that. The people who believe in what I believe, and it would make more money for them. I produce a lot of content. There's ads running on my content. It would be better for YouTube. It doesn't hurt them to do it, right? Just recommend my videos to the small group of people out there that would connect with this content. But, that doesn't happen. And not just for me, everyone. And it's, shows you that YouTube is tanking because it isn't really, there's no benefit for them not doing that, right? There's no benefit for it. It would bring people who probably don't go to YouTube very much to my channel on a regular basis. The people who really like my stuff come every day and listen to it. Or at least whenever they're able to have the time to do it, they listen to it. There's, 5,000 people or so who do that every day that are engaged with my channel. And you increase that up to even 100,000 people or 200,000 people. That would be significant money for YouTube and more, that's just one small little channel. And there's so many people they could do that for. I mean, if there was any sort of functionality, and it isn't like, my content or these other content has any real threat to the system because people aren't rebelling. I talk about that in another video. That people, as long as there's internet and food and, electricity and these things, there's going to be no real rebellion. There might be some goofy protests here or there. But the reality is you have a pacified group of people. And so you might as well maximize your earning potential. But YouTube and these other social media platforms refuse to do that. And, the truth community is no real threat to anybody. I've said it before because there's lots of people that refuse to wake up. And even if they did, even the people in the truth community are still supporting the beast. They're still doing all the same things everyone else is doing. They might complain about it. They might say, hey, look at this evil stuff. Give me more of it, right? Look at this evil stuff. Give me more of it, right? So that's, the majority of truth people who watch these videos still do all the same things. They're not willing to boycott anything. If they are, it would be a small group. It's just not, There's no fangs in the truth community, right? I mean, Alex Jones is like not really a truther, but like, all the stuff that he did and all these really stupid rabid fans, all the people in the QB movement, all the stupid QBs, flat earthers, all these things, they didn't do anything, right? There was no real rebellion. There's nothing. They just make videos and talk about this stuff. And it's just a place for people to vent and feel like they're part of a community and agree with each other. But there's no rebellion or revolution here. And people are still going to engage with the beast. They're still going to use the economic system. They're still going to participate. They're still going to have a job and all these things. I mean, if they have those things before being woken up, they're still going to do it. And so it's like there's no reason not to maximize that potential because it's basically harmless. But they're willing to make less money, allow their platform to implode, YouTube and the rest of these social media platforms, rather than do something that has nothing but upside. And it just shows you how like everything is self-sabotageable and heading towards collapse. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely born from the apocalypse. And the ascension, everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.